I do see a lot of good opportunities in boat and RV storage, kind of like what you were talking about, what we've been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know a lot of self-storage sponsors, but that game has always killed it. That's always been a really good bet. I am more in the multifamily just out of default. Cap rates are just crazy compressed right now. So you really got to bet on the jockey, not the horse.
Welcome to the How to Scale Commercial Real Estate Show. Whether you are an active or passive investor, we'll teach you how to scale your real estate investing business into something big.
Charlie Wessel started in commercial real estate in 2017. He is now members of the general partnership on 4 deals and 486 doors. His primary focus right now is raising capital from accredited investors. Charlie's been married for 20 years, has 3 kids, and I had the pleasure actually of meeting you, Charlie, I think at the Intelligent Investors Conference here just a few weeks ago in Los Angeles. So, Charlie, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, first time we met, we had breakfast together. We just kind of were standing there like 2 lost puppies, and we're like, "Hey, you want to have breakfast together?" Yeah, dude, let's do it.
Let's do it, man. Hey, I love it. Every guest who comes on the show, I ask these same 3 questions in 90 seconds or less. Can you tell me, where did you start? Where are you now? And how did you get there?
I started in residential real estate. Had several rental houses. Complete nightmare. And then we moved into commercial real estate from advice from a real estate broker buddy of mine. I was in general contracting, and all I worked for was real estate brokers, the commercial real estate brokers. We did commercial construction. And he told me to build real wealth, you got to get into commercial. And the easiest, smartest, safest way to do it was in multifamily real estate.
Man, that's brilliant, and that's a good broker to give you those tips, because I too come from a background in the trades, and we did lots and lots of large scale commercial construction projects, and I don't know what the disconnect there is, right, between the guys doing the work, because we ran a flooring operation. We had 30 some odd guys doing millions of dollars a year in projects, but I never had that thought when I owned that company. Why don't I go buy the building and run the project myself instead of just being a contractor? So what was that transition like for you, running probably a successful commercial contracting company and then getting into multifamily?
Yeah, it was a big firm. I actually sold it in 2016.
Wow.
And all the guys that we worked for, yeah, they were brokers that turned us on to them, but all the people that cut my checks owned the buildings.
Right.
So they were tenant upfits. And I mean, these guys they lived on Daniel Island or Sullivan's Island or somewhere around here in Charleston where there's big ass houses that are worth a lot of money. And they just, they kind of floated on their own beat, man. And I wanted to be like those guys. So anyways, yeah, that's kind of what got me started, was seeing all these people that were writing the big checks to us.
Right. Yeah, I think that's really interesting. It's a point that I make more often than not, which is if you want to, if you have an industry, or maybe it's not real estate, but you want to get anything you want, go find somebody 20 years further along in the business than you, see what their life looks like, and see if that's where you want to be in 20 years. If the picture that they present isn't the life you want to lead, don't go do what they're doing.
Absolutely, man. That's kind of why we got tied up. Why I was at IIREC was the conference, was because we're in Raise Masters, and there's just so many guys there that have done hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars worth of real estate that are actually in that program. That you look at them and you're like, why are you in here? You raised $60 million last year. Why would you be in here?
Right.
And they're like, man, we can always sharpen the game. Let's sharpen the sword and get out there. And, we get around people that have proven their methods. And it's like the Ray Kroc theory, man. Don't reinvent the wheel, brother. He started McDonald's, said, hey, look, if you want to own McDonald's, you do it this way.
Right.
And you'll be successful, I promise. So, yeah, we just follow the lead of successful people, man.
Is that one of the ways, that you've found, the way to, I guess, scale your portfolio is by just surrounding yourself with like people?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we talked about it, and it's not a cheap investment, but it pays itself off quite handsomely in the end, just from surrounding yourself with the people, deal opportunities, capital opportunities that come into your deals. You got to pay to play, man. You got to pay to play.
That's really interesting. How did you select, the programs that you are a part of? I mean, there's so much out there, and a lot of it, and I'll just say it, is garbage. So
it is.
I hate to say that, publicly here on the show, but it is. There's so much. The people I call guru, but no do. They're going to sell you a course, but they can't raise $1 in their life.
Right. And I went to their conferences. Yeah. So I went to their conferences, and sat through their programs. And I do a lot of research on people, man. I mean, I can Facebook and LinkedIn stalk somebody in a heartbeat, man, and really find out what they have, what they don't have, what they say they have. And I started off going to one guy's conference who's a guru who really didn't. He had like 2 deals. And I mean, within the first year I was where he was, and he had a slew of quote unquote, guys he was training to do what he does, which I guess after a couple of deals, I mean, every deal is different. It's kind of the same, mindset and, underwriting and stuff like that. But still, I want to be under somebody who knows what they're doing. I picked Hunter Thompson's course, man, just because I listened to his podcast for a couple of years, and his podcast is just brilliant. I mean, it really is. It's like your podcast, Sam.
Oh,
it's no nonsense. It's to the point, and it's informational. I want information. I want meat and potatoes, man.
For sure. Tell me about a mistake, that you've made here in the last 4 years, or some maybe not even a mistake, but something you could have done differently that would have expedited your progress.
Hired a VA sooner. Yeah, hired a virtual assistant sooner. I mean, I was doing stuff that I shouldn't be doing. Stuff that is not, it's not worth my time to do. Social media marketing. I mean, I post on social media every day, and I posted on Instagram every day for 2 years, man. I just got Instagram on my phone like a couple months ago. I don't even know how, I have to type my VA responses because I don't know how to respond on Instagram. So that's how, she does that. We still get investors from it. And, that's just one of my little dirty secrets, I guess, is I don't really do the social media stuff.
And that's okay. I think that's a common question, that I see batted around on social media is, hey, is it okay if somebody else posts for me, things like that. I think as long as the content is informational and is, sharing something of value for other people, it's A-okay to have somebody else post for you.
Absolutely. I mean, I approve everything that gets put out there before it goes. It's not like she's just blindly throwing stuff out there, but I'll go in and edit it or something like that. She puts it all and dumps it all in a folder, and then I check it out and stick it in an approved folder, and then she uses it. So,
wow. Hey, that's cool. How did you hire? Let's talk about hiring a VA. There's so many resources out there now. I mean, there are virtual assistant, or I guess the new politically correct term is virtual professional, whatever you want to call it. But there's so many different platforms that you can select from, and or just go out and do a direct hire on your own. What was your experience?
For sure. I'm not very PC, dude, and I haven't heard that term yet. So I'll have to run that by Mafi today and see what she prefers to be called, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, we use Rocket Station. I mean, they kind of put the whole thing together. When I hired a VA, I didn't even really know what I was going to have her do. I just knew that I needed one because all the big boys had one, and I want what the big boys have. So we, Rocket Station, they lined it all up, interviewed me for about 45 minutes or so and found out what my day looks like, what I do. And they were like, yeah, we can fill this VA up with stuff to do.
Wow. That's really cool. Now that you have that time freed up, what do you focus on?
Raising capital, man. I play golf twice a week with several investors, and it's, my wife always says it's got to be tough being Charlie Wessel. I'm like, yeah, it ain't bad, darling. It ain't bad. But yeah, we, I'm here in my office every other day, and I'm making phone calls. I have about 4 phone calls lined up today. trying to put some deals together. Like we were talking about some deals. I got a call with that guy later this week, and hopefully we can get together on that. Yeah, man, just, trying to make some coin out there, man.
How are you finding deals right now? I mean, it's a crazy environment to be in. You're based in Charleston, South Carolina, which, I mean, if you're in the Carolinas, the Southeast, anywhere, like it's people are duking it out for multifamily deals, and cap rates just keep compressing. What are some strategies that you're using to find opportunity?
Well, I'll be honest with you, man. We are more on the capital raising side of it. So I have teamed up with several really good sponsors, and we come in as the capital arm and bring money into their deals, and we get part of the GP, and we usually do the investor relations part of it. So we'll send out investor emails and stuff like that. And I still travel to all the properties that we bring our investors to, just from a fiduciary responsibility for our investors' capital. I mean, we still do our own due diligence and underwrite each property ourselves. But these guys that I work with, man, they're pretty stand up guys, and they have a pretty good track record.
So that's really fascinating. What did you, I mean, obviously bringing capital to the table is one thing, taking investor relations off of their plate is another. How did that conversation, evolve? Because you go in, you're like, hey, my name's Charlie Wessel. I'm new to multifamily and I want to work with you. And they're going to go, okay, Charlie, what actually, tell me actually what happened.
Hey man, you don't know what you don't know. And I didn't do it until I did it. So it was kind of one of those things, man, where I just met some people at a conference and they had like 12 or 13 properties. And I was like, yep, these are the guys I want to get around, because they know what they're doing. I don't hang out with many people that have done one or two deals. So we make sure that we vet these guys really well. And, I just met them at a conference. I've met every single one of them at a conference, actually, that I work with. One of them was at a meetup group here in Charleston that happens on Friday mornings at like 6 a.m. And we all break bread and have coffee and talk about it. And, I met a lawyer and a developer down here in Charleston, and we have a deal in Greensboro that is just killing it. I mean, killing it. So, yeah, it's just all about making, good relationships out there with the right people.
That's interesting. And I found the value, I think we were talking about this before we kicked this off, was the value in conferences. When I first started out, I think I've really found the value in the content being presented. Now I don't go to conferences necessarily to sit and listen to the, whatever's being talked about on stage. I go to stand in the hallway and talk to people like you. And it sounds like that's kind of your take on the matter as well.
Yeah. Hunter sent out a survey and said, what was the best session of his conference that I thought that I had, because there was a lot of sessions there and it was a lot of really good information. And I did sit through most of them. But the best sessions I had were out in the hallways and at breakfast with Sam Wilson. I mean, I'll be honest with you, Sam. I mean, I plan on knowing you for a long time to come, man.
Right.
And, if we can do some deals together, that'd be great. If not, we can go hunting and go shoot animals together or something, man. I don't know.
Sounds like a winner, man. That's fantastic. Yeah. I love that. What are some hints or clues you would give to people? Maybe if they haven't yet begun attending larger conferences, somebody goes to one of these, what's the best way to maximize your time?
I would say make sure that because in a room full of big people, man, I can freeze up pretty quick. Mm-hmm. One-on-one with somebody, I can talk like nobody's business. But, around a bunch of people I don't know, I can stand in a corner real quick and just look around at people.
Right.
But you got to get out there and shake some hands, man. I mean, I was amazed at the first two conferences I went to. I found myself standing in the corner looking at everybody I don't know. And I just started walking up and talking to people. And it was a whole lot easier than I thought. I mean, being a contractor, most of the time we're kind of introverted. Right. So, you got to get out and meet people, man. I mean, you're net worth is your network and vice versa. So.
Yeah, and I think the other interesting thing is that in general, and I'm totally an introvert, and so I have to really focus and say, all right, when like walking up to meet you, we're both standing in line there. I'm like, hey, this guy's looking for, hey man, you want to sit down and eat breakfast? Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. And that is not my natural go-to, right? But when you
It's
get in
not mine either, man.
right, but when you get in conference mode, it's like, hey, wait, you just got to remember that everybody else probably wants to hang out and talk to people too. So you might as well just go up, shake hands. Hey, I'm Sam. Nice to meet you. Hey,
Yeah.
and just start asking questions and see what.
And it's easy to do after the conference when the drinks start flowing, but before at breakfast, man, I really don't. I'm not looking to socialize.
Well, sorry, I ruined that breakfast for you.
No,
Hey, man,
it was great.
Let's talk a little bit about what you see happening here in 2022. I know you guys are focused predominantly on multifamily. Are there other asset classes that you're interested in? What do you see the next, I guess, what's left in this year, 10 and a half months remaining for 2022?
Yeah. I mean, me living by the coast, I do see a lot of good opportunities in boat and RV storage, kind of like what you were talking about, what we've been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know a lot of self-storage sponsors, but that game has always killed it. That's always been a really good bet. I am more in the multifamily just out of default. Cap rates are just crazy compressed right now. So you really got to bet on the jockey, not the horse. These guys, that's why, I really only focus on doing deals with guys that have a really good track record, a really good work ethic, and they put their nose to the grindstone every day. And they're really focused on making sure that the business plan is followed on these properties. And, when you have to pivot, you got to pivot. But, for the most part, we've done really well.
Right. No, I love your points there of betting on the jockey, not the horse, because that's certainly the name of the game right now. And that's the first thing I always tell people to focus on. Like, if you're looking at a deal passively, you got to look at first and foremost, who is the sponsor?
Absolutely.
Then you look at the market, and then you look at the very last thing you should care about is the actual deal itself. So,
yeah.
And I think the same thing holds true on when you are doing investor relations and being part of the GP, but also handling the capital raising side, is that you got to align yourself with the right people first, and then the rest will fall in place.
100%, man, because, I can lose my money. I can't lose your money.
Right. Yeah, that's absolutely true. I will take risk with my own capital that I will not take with investors' capital.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. I love that. Charlie, let's jump here into the final 4 questions. What is one tool, think digital, think software, that you find you can't live without?
Active Campaign.
That's an interesting one. Did you figure that out that's a pretty robust program. Have you figured that out on your own?
No, that's why God made a VA.
I love it. Okay. Very good. Active Campaign. Yeah, that's a good and very, again, robust program. Love some Active Campaign. Question number 2, what is one mistake you could help our listeners avoid? And then how would you avoid it?
Measure the building if you're looking at a flex space. Yeah, we got deep into a project, had probably $7,000 in due diligence tied up on a flex space here in the Charleston area. And the building, we never measured the building, man. For some reason, it was so stupid. So something so small as taking out your measuring wheel and measuring it. It was 30% less square foot than was advertised. So no wonder it penciled out like a champ, because you live and die by square footage in flex space.
Wow. Was that from an assessor's office problem where it was just incorrectly measured there, or was the broker incompetent?
Yeah, no, it was a little self-entitled broker that just doesn't like to work very much.
Wow. That's wow. Never heard
Needless
that
to
one.
say, I bought a measuring wheel that day, went to the Hallmark store, bought a bow, slapped it on the damn thing, and dropped it off at his office.
That's an expensive measuring wheel.
Very expensive measuring wheel.
Yeah, I hope it had a gold handle or something for $7,000. Man, that's a great lesson to learn. Thank you for sharing that. I've not heard that, and that's you hear all sorts of stories with that question, and that's a painful one. So thank you.
Square foot doesn't really matter that much in multifamily, but in flex space or office or something like that, I mean, that's what the rent goes by.
Right. Yeah, 100%. That's tremendous. Thanks for sharing that. Question number 3 for you: when it comes to investing in the world, what's one thing you're doing right now to make the world a better place?
I tell you what, man, we give to a couple of different charities here. One is the Low Country Pregnancy Center. It's a Christian-based organization that helps, newly found pregnant women in a bind, and they go in and help them out quite a bit. We give them quite a bit of money every month. I really firmly believe in what they do. They've saved thousands of babies here in the Tri-County area.
Wow.
Another one is Fellowship of Christian Athletes. I played football in high school, and we give them money as well.
That's really cool. Yeah, both of those are tremendous resources. So thanks for doing that. Charlie, if our listeners want to get in touch with you or learn more about you, what is the best way to do that?
You can go to Cordell Capital and sign up on our investor club list. And it's in the top right-hand corner of the website, and we can meet that way, or you can send us an email, info@cordellcapital.com.
All right. We'll make sure we put that in the show notes. And just for those of you who are listening, that is Cordell, Cordell, capital.com. Charlie, thank you for your time today. I certainly appreciate it.
Thank you, Sam.